Hi everyone, it's Meredith with Soul Navigation, your evolutionary astrologer, and I am so happy to be with you here today. Forgive me for having such a late video. I have been sick in bed with a fever. I still have a little bit of a fever, but I just had to get this video out for you, and thank goodness for my fabulous, fabulous, fabulous editor who's going to make everything great. I love her so much. She's such a big, big love in my life, and she just makes these videos possible. So here I am. Today we're going to talk about November transits. November is going to be really, really pivotal. It's going to be exceptionally crucial, and it's going to change our lives forever, in truth. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the transits. I'm going to take you all the way through to the mid-month. And next week, I am going to do the November 15th through the end of November. So we're just going to do the first half right now. November is quite overwhelming. It's just jam-packed with transits. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I do want you to be prepared. And I want you to know what we're stepping into. Basically, what we're stepping into is a revolution. So I want to talk to you in two different ways. One, I want to tell you how is this going to affect you personally? And two, I want to talk about what does all this chaos even mean? What does it stand for? And if you haven't seen my 2020 transits playlist, I think there's 22 videos in that. Please, 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 I beg you, go watch that whole playlist starting in December 2019. It's quite shocking how the predictions have come true. It's just shocking. So today is October 31st, and I'm just barely eking this video out, having been sick for 5 days. But thank you for your good wishes, by the way, for everybody who follows me on Instagram. It just means the world to me. And by the way, if you're a subscriber, thank you. My goal is to reach 40,000 subscribers, and if you're one of them, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful. I want to reach 40,000 by January. I don't know if it's possible, but it's my big goal. It's my big vision. And also, if you're a super supporter, I can't wait because my next live feed is going to be on Friday the 13th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And that's for my super supporters. If you're not a super supporter, go check out in the notes everything that you get. It's absolutely amazing. It's super fun, and I love my super supporters. So if you're a super supporter, thank you for being here. Leave me a note in the comments. I'll give you plenty of options because I've got lots of questions for you. So let's dive in. Let's talk about November. Now, it's hard to talk about November without talking about the crazy full moon in Taurus on the 31st, Halloween. So November is an extension of the seeds that have already been planted, especially the seeds that have been planted in late January, around the 28th of January, when we had that massive eclipse. It's a continuation of that story, but this is the turning point, and we are finally here. I can't even believe it. And when you go see, back in March, I did a video on the hardest days of the year, and wow, they have proven to be so true. And that's a good video for you to watch too, because I just give you shortcuts on the hardest days. And November is the crux. It's the apex. It's sort of the new rocket launch. So October 31st, we have this glorious Taurus full moon that looks so pretty, but it ushers in probably the most dramatic month of the year. And you are going to see a giant rising up, and you're going to simultaneously see a giant tear down. So what I want to ask you, I'm going to do this video in two ways. One is for the collective, and two is for you personally. I'm going to talk about this globally, and then I'm going to talk about it also from an American perspective, just because that's who I am. I live in Seattle, Washington. If you don't know me, I hope you know me. I hope we're friends, but if you don't, welcome to my channel. Tea is my new wine. I am loving my decaffeinated chai tea tonight on this Halloween night. You are going to see that Jupiter and Pluto have had 3 major exact conjunctions. They've been dancing like this all flippin' year, but they've had 3 exact conjunctions. One in early April, one at the end of June, and the last one is it's in mid-November. And what has happened is it correlates when we've had those exact conjunctions with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, and Pluto, the planet of death. The god of the underworld rules Pluto. It is the planet of deep, deep transformation. We've seen that the COVID cases go up at those exact same times that Pluto and Jupiter had the conjunction. It's crazy. So the third wave of COVID is actually being ushered in with this next Jupiter-Pluto conjunction that's happening on November 12th. So be careful. Wear your mask, stay inside, just be careful. So we're seeing it right now, but I do believe it's going to get a little worse before it gets better. And I hate to say that. But on the flip side, and how this can affect you personally, this is the massive millionaire aspect. This is the aspect that makes millionaires. I mean, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett have this natally, and I love this transit natally. I love, love, love it. When you have the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction, it's incredible. So you might see enormous money or more money line your pockets. You might attract money, especially if you have your Venus in harmony with this Capricorn Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. So if you have earth signs or water signs, so Scorpio or Pisces or Virgo or Capricorn or maybe Taurus. Taurus is a little bit unruly because we've got Uranus there. You could really receive an abundance of money right now. So if you're trying to earn money, this could be a time when you will see money coming to you. I also think around November 13th, we're going to see that there may be another bailout, or in the United States, there might be more disaster relief funding or PPE, or I forget what it's called. I didn't receive that money, but a lot of people did, and it helped a lot of people. We got to talk about the full moon. Okay, so this full moon is exalted in Taurus, and it looks beautiful, but with Uranus right there next to it, it's in a very difficult emotional position, and this is going to have many emotional twists and turns, and it stays in play until the new moon happens mid-month. So go back and look at where this full moon is in your own chart. And where does 9 to 13 degrees land in your chart? What playground, what house is it in? And if you don't know what the different houses mean, the different playgrounds, the different arenas of your life, each house has a different meaning to it. And you want to know where Taurus, 9 to 13 degrees Taurus, lands in your chart, because that is the house that is being affected with this full moon on October 31st until the 12th of November, and it's ushering in massive radical change. And it actually is going to last longer than that. It's just kind of hard to deal with and very emotional and very volatile until we get the new moon. But Uranus is still going to stay there. So this is where giant surprises, disruptive energy, and where there's going to be shocks and awes coming to you. It's going to be thrilling like fireworks, but it can also be really hard to manage and quite exhausting. It's like trying to hold lightning in your hand, right? It's like those sparklers at 4th of July that light up. It's like, whoa! And so it's exciting and beautiful and fun, and we need this change. So where is this in your own chart? What is wanting to change? Leave me a comment below and let me know, because you're going to see surprises there for sure. Mine is happening in my house of career, in my house of my public career. And if you haven't noticed, I've built a whole new team, and it's really taking off. It's been just so fantastic. And I recommend all my beautiful, beautiful, amazing, highly gifted, highly accurate readers. If you have not met them yet, please go check them out at my website, soulnavigation.com. And you can see them here every single day through my new show called Spirit Talk, and get to know them. They're amazing. And if you want an astrology reading, a tarot reading, a mediumship reading where you can connect with crossed over loved ones, they are all so talented. And if you don't know who to book, reach out to me, soulnavigation1111@gmail.com, and tell me what you're looking for, and I'll help you pick the very best reader for you. But so you can see that Uranus in my 10th house, I didn't really plan it that way. It just happened, and then it so happened to be the transit. But it's really been quite shocking and surprising and hard work, a ton of hard work. But where is it in your chart? I mean, my astrology, it just doesn't lie. It's absolutely amazing. So old energy is leaving. Something is being amputated, killed off, ended, dying on the vine, and something in its place is being reinvigorated. Something is coming in to improve you, to level you up, to make you grander, bigger, stronger, to have the new you in this arena. You know, is this in your house of health? Is this in, that would be the 6th house. Is this in your house of marriage and partnerships? That would be the 7th house. Is this in your house of sexuality, intimacy, and receiving an inheritance or other people's money? That would be the 8th house. If you don't know the houses, please go watch my video called The Sun Through the Houses. And I talk a lot about what the different houses mean. There's part 1, and that gives you the houses 1 through 6. And then there's part 2, 6 through 12. Please go watch that after this video, so you can learn about what the different houses mean. I know I talk about the sun there, and this is Uranus, but it will still tell you the playgrounds. And I want you to tell me, what house is Uranus in? Okay, yeah. So Uranus is at 8 degrees right now, Taurus. So where do you have 8 degrees Taurus in your chart? Because that is also where rebellion at the highest degree is existing, where it's kind of like this full moon on October 31st is ushering in a rebellion, a place where people are commanding and demanding the truth. It's sort of like the American version of the French Revolution here. You should check out Texas. Go check out Texas on Twitter and just take a look at what it looks like. It's crazy. I mean, it is just shocking energy. So it's like people right now will rise up and rebel in the highest degree for freedom and independence and what they believe in. And it's Uranus conjunct the moon can be shockingly polarizing and uncomfortable. It is eruptive, and it has a force to be reckoned with. It's like getting struck by lightning. And it can be so exhausting you don't even want to deal with it. And Uranus fights for its own independence. If you know an Aquarian, they're ruled by Uranus. You can't control those people. Nope. Yeah, I live with one. He's good for me. But when Uranus and the moon are together, it's emotional, it's big, it's bold, and it will force you to deal with things that you don't want to deal with. It will take things away from you, and it will bring in blessings. And it just goes like this. So it demands shifting. It demands having brilliant clarity. It demands the truth. People want the truth right now, and people will revolt for this truth. Just wait. You are going to see in the United States especially, and I pray not where you're at, revolts. You're going to see it. You're going to see some hard stuff, and it's ushered in with this new full moon. And the energy again stays until we get our new moon mid-month. But this is an ending energy. This is like out with the old guard, and it's trying to break way for newer energy. People want a change right now, and they are going to take to the streets to create it, especially if they don't get it. So if you are a Taurus, you're having a huge shift in your identity, and you're being asked to upgrade your life. And it's a pain. I get it. It's a pain in the butt, but it's good for you. And so you have to lose something in order to reinvent and recreate the kind of life that you really want to have. So Tauruses are boots on the ground, and they are in it deep. So Uranus cuts things off. it amputates things, and especially when it's next to the full moon. So what have you been cut off from that has made you emotional or sad? You know, there is something surprising coming in for you. There is something surprising coming in for you. Uranus doesn't just take things away and leave it in obliteration. You always get a chance to raise yourself up into your higher, better version and play at a level up after this level has been taken away from you. So you're going to learn a lot in the next 14 days. This is massive, massive, massive learning time. So November 1st, let's talk about it. Mercury in retrograde is square Saturn. So Saturn is the lord of karma, and Mercury is the communication and the perception and the thinking planet, right? It's the way you talk, the way you think, and the way you perceive. And if that isn't hard enough, because squares bring in challenges, it's opposing Mars. And it's a very hard and harsh time on November 1st. Words are cutting, they're mean, they're cruel. You're going to see bullies out there. You're going to see bullies everywhere. But I want you to remember that love wins. Love wins. Don't be a part of the problem. Bring love to the table. Mercury square Saturn is not a bad aspect natally. But when Mercury's in retrograde, it goes awry. It doesn't usually manifest well for signing contracts and doing detailed work, taking tests, passing exams. So I want you to prepare yourself with an Epsom salt bubble bath, with going slow, staying calm, resisting the chaos, and staying very balanced and centered in your own world. Cozy up with me and get your yummy chai tea and take a bath and listen to beautiful music. Check out of the news for a little bit, not all day, check in once in a while, but read a great book. Love yourself, self-love, and kind of going within and soul searching is a really good thing to do right now. So communication is going to be difficult right now, and positive, inspiring, and empowering communication is going to be more challenging and difficult because Saturn oppresses and suppresses Mercury, the communication, and Mercury is going backwards, right? So it's difficult to really negotiate your best deal. It's difficult to win in negotiations. Right now, Seattle's housing market is in just bidding wars that are just insanity. And it's really hard to buy a home here right now because you got 3 to 10 people bidding on it. And if you don't have the contract in perfect order with the very best deal in 10 different ways, you lose. So it's very complicated to work with this energy, and it can leave you feeling depressed, like there's a cork in your bottle, like there's a wall that you bump into, like you've interviewed for jobs and you can't get ahead, or you never get a break. It's not true. It's gonna pass. It's almost done. But I want you to know that it's making you stronger, it's making you smarter, it's making you tougher, and it's making you, forcing you to find more peace within. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Just say, okay, I surrender. I surrender. I'm not gonna even worry about it. I'm gonna just try again and do that. If you're going to go into business matters or legal matters or sign contracts or anything, I really do want you to have somebody check your work. I just can't recommend this time right now to sign a new contract. But if you have to, you have to. And I just ask that you have somebody that you love and trust really look at it and be open-minded to changing some of the details. If your trusted loved one who is smart and bright and has your back and is loyal to you tells you that they think you're making a mistake, really, really be willing to listen right now. And at the same time, I don't want you to rely on the words of just anybody. You have to really stay grounded and centered in your own power at the same time. So if somebody is professional and gives you good advice, listen. If it's somebody who you don't really trust, This is a time when there's going to be a lot of miscommunication and a lot of fake, wrong news and misinformation. And that is happening to create divisions. And so you cannot believe every single thing that you hear. So you may also feel that there's some distance in your close relationships. You don't talk as much, you don't see each other as much, you don't communicate well with each other right now. You might see that there's infighting with families because you're not on the same page with what the world looks like and then what it should look like. And you might feel depressed or gloomy. You might receive some bad news, or you might feel alienated, isolated, and lonely right now. And this can have a huge effect on your mental well-being. Mental health is a big deal. Right now, I want you to do a positive affirmation every single day. I want you to lead with love, and I want you to say, Meredith, I believe you. I believe the transits, and I refuse to attach to them. And I want you to detach to this, but have it in the background because you're going to see it in the world. Operate in your day where you lead with love, peace, tranquility, and calm. Now, I want to tell you that Mercury is going to go direct on November 3rd. Hallelujah, right? But there are shadow phases with Mercury in retrograde, and I don't know if you are an advanced student of astrology or not, but if you are an advanced student, you know about the shadow phases. It starts at 25 degrees Libra. So at 25 degrees Libra, so where is that in your chart? That's the start of the Mercury in retrograde zone. So the first shadow phase from Mercury entering the retrograde zone is September 23rd, and it goes until October 13th. And on October 13th, the retrograde phase lasts from Mercury at 11 degrees Scorpio, okay? So it went from 25 degrees Libra to 11 degrees Scorpio. And when it got to 11 degrees Scorpio, it turned around and it went back to the degree 25 degrees Libra. And on November 3rd, it gets out of going backwards. It gets out of its retrograde. It stations. So that's the most powerful day of Mercury in retrograde. And it is usually a shit show. And that is also the day of the American United States election, presidential election. And on November 3rd, it goes stationary, it stops, turns around, and it goes all the way back. It goes all the way forward to 11 degrees Scorpio. So saying that, November 3rd is going to be a mess. It's going to be, you might see a victory. I'm predicting that you will. By the way, if you're a super supporter, I gave you guys my United States election predictions. I didn't do that for everybody. I didn't want my predictions out there on my main channel, but if you're a super supporter, you get all of my secret videos, my secret private videos, and I really do share deep private things in those videos. And so come be a super supporter if you're interested. And if you want to go deeper and behind the scenes and learn more about astrology and how it can work. But I think we will see a victory. I think it will be a loud enough victory that we'll be able to call it, but not, of course, all the votes will come in. And I think we're going to see that there is voter fraud. We are going to see that other countries, especially Russia, have hijacked our election. You are going to see, I believe, 4 states, the votes will be stolen. And it's going to be a mess. Saying all that, I still feel there will be a winner. And then there's this second shadow phase, November 3rd through the 19th. So this started on September 23rd and it goes until November 19th. But the actual retrograde phase is between October 13th and November 3rd. So what Mercury and retrograde disaster happened to you? For me, our heater went out. We just bought our house 2 years ago and our furnace went out. And so we were over here freezing cold for 7 days with no heat. It was awful. I mean, I had a little space heater following me around. I was just taking my little space heater everywhere I went. I was just like in a hoodie. My daughter was doing class up in her bedroom in a little hoodie. It was so bad. It was terrible. Thank God we had a guardian angel who helped us out. Anyways, yeah, so our furnace, not fun, super expensive, but we had a beautiful friend in our life that helped us with that. Thank God. So tell me what happened to you in the shadow phases or in the actual Mercury in retrograde between September 23rd and November 19th, if you're watching this in hindsight. What Mercury in retrograde thing happened to you? I also completely shattered my phone. I don't know if you can see it, but it's completely broken and I have to get a new phone. Yeah, not fun. I also got a flat tire driving down the road. Thank God we were all okay. That was really scary. So that sucked. And my brother came over to help change the flat tire with my husband, and they walked in the door after they were done, and they were soaked in rain and grease. The tire was so hard to get out from underneath the bottom of the car. I have an SUV. It was awful. It was so bad. So I had to get new tires. So that's a quintessential classic Mercury in retrograde. And it starts in the shadow period, and we're not out of it till November 19th. So we're going to see in the United States, we're going to see that they're going to mess with the numbers, the votes, the ballots, they're going to find, they're going to find missing 10,000 ballots, sitting in some stupid post office down deep in Iowa. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. I'm going to tell you, it will be bad, and it will be unjust and not right and not fair. Why? Because it's in Libra and Scorpio. So the planet of death and transformation. So that's not going to be good. And Libra, the sign, sorry, not the planet, the sign of the scales of justice. So there will be problems with justice, and maybe even justice around death, like more Black Lives Matter. Just in my state last night, a Black man was gunned down. Not where I live, very far away from where I live, but it's just repugnant and repulsive, and it just breaks my heart. So why are we going through this? Why are we going through this? Can I tell you what I think? I brought this book, and I'm thinking about maybe doing a book club. If you want me to do a book club for this channel, I would love to. But this is the book that I have chosen to read. And if you want to read it with me, I'll start my book club probably on Facebook through a group. Just write in the comments below, please invite me to your book club. And come follow me at Soul Navigation on Facebook, and I'll put together a group. But this is my book. It's Siddhartha. And the thing about Siddhartha, and it's Hermann Hesse, I love this book, but it's through suffering, rejection, pain, and agony that Siddhartha becomes enlightened. And his story of a young man where he leaves his family compound and all the riches in the world, and he discards it to find the truth about life. And the truth is fairly ugly, and it's cruel, and it's mean. And it's through suffering that you create the friction. You need friction to create anything. You need friction to create change. And it's through the emotional and psychological friction, and even the physical suffering, that the friction to even survive. And it's in those near-death experiences where you feel like your mind, your heart, your soul is going to die, that you persevere. And that's when change is created. And that's what's happening in the United States for all the people around the world. And I love that I have an international channel. I love the diversity on this channel so much. I grew up in an international family. My dad worked for the United Nations and lived in Cambodia and in Thailand for 10 years. I spent my summers there. He built airports for third world countries, and I feel very, very privileged to have gotten an education in culture. at a very, very young age. Anyways, why was I saying that? Oh, what's happening in the United States. And those of you who are looking with just pure disgust and sadness, and those of you who have compassion and sorrow in your hearts for us, thank you. Because not all of us are riding in big trucks, down the freeway with American flags, being crazy. I mean, and being filled with just the inanity of greed. There are many, many people like me. You'll see on November 3rd. You'll see how many people that there are that just don't prescribe to that way of being. And there's a contrast there. And so we are literally in an American Revolution again. And that's why I want to read this book. So if anybody wants to read this book with me, even if it's just 10 people, just leave a comment. I want to be in your book club. And then come follow me on Facebook, Soul Navigation, and I'll create a group and I'll put you in it. And remember, this is Halloween. This is October 31st. So I might do this around the 10th of November. This book is about enlightenment through crisis, and that's what we're going through. And somewhere in your personal life, if you're not living in the United States, or even if you are living in the United States, you're also going through this on a deeply personal level too. Here in the US, we do have it in a personal level, and then we have it culturally here too. Tell me your thoughts about that. Leave me a comment. I want to know. I care. I love this community. I love the 23,000 people that have subscribed to this channel, because the comments that I get, I can't comment on every single one. Oh my God, that's all I would do for all day long. But I try to read them all, and they mean the world to me. And they're such thoughtful comments, and I can't thank you enough. And if you really love this channel, come be a super supporter. Go check out all the benefits that you get down below. Let's keep going. So where was I? Okay, so that Mercury square Saturn is in existence on November 6th as well. And I just want you to expect hard to hear news, or expect to feel some sort of like verbal setback, or there are words that are going to be meant to oppress and suppress you, hurt you. And Mercury squares Saturn, the moon, and also Pluto wide. So these are going to be very trying days for us. And it's going to have we're going to have to revisit information over and over and over to get the truth. And it's going to have us worried and concerned and nervous. And it's sort of this very heavy and low and dark thinking, skeptical, pessimistic time. And it's like the joy can't quite be sprung out of us yet. And it will look like in your personal life like a slowdown, almost like you're moving through quicksand. And you might feel doom and gloom and pessimistic. And it's like you see blocks or obstacles, and you have to push so hard to make it through to the other side. You feel like you have to push your way through the bureaucracy and the red tape of your own life. And it's complicated, and it requires patience and grace. And if you have those two things inside of you, fantastic. If not, borrow patience and grace from somebody who does. It's very important. Don't fly off the handle. Try best not to fall apart if you don't get your way. And if I don't get my way, make sure you call me and check on me to make sure I'm okay. I have to take my own advice. I'll have to watch this video myself over and over, because that's painful and that's hard. So you might get some bad news, and I'm sorry for that. I don't want that. But remember, it'll make us stronger. That's how you get enlightened, by dealing with challenges and problems and suffering and dealing with it well. So, and that might not be able to be your first reaction. Whatever your sad news is, I'm going to hurt for you. but also know that on the other side of that, there is something beautiful to be made out of this. So on November 9th, Venus opposes Mars, and we are going to see an attack on men against women, and maybe women against men. But we are going to see women wanting to stand up for their beliefs like warriors, and they will take on the men. So you're going to see infighting between males and females, and you're going to see women speaking out and becoming warriors in their own life. That can happen at a very personal level. You might get in a giant argument with your father, your brother, your husband, your son. You might, get so irritated with your uncle, or I don't know who, some chauvinist in your life, right? Or some backward thinking male that wants to hold you down or dominate you. And so as a woman, you could feel really dominated by the male energy. And it could work the other way too, where men could feel mistreated by alpha females. Get ready for, that little combative moment. It's also a time where there's sort of a rising up, and in the lighter aspect of that, or the healthier aspect of that, what we're going to see is women are really going to command a place at the table. I remember looking at Donald Trump's medical committee when he first got elected, and he had a board of medical advisors. It was way before COVID. And there was a picture. Do you remember this? And Nancy Pelosi was there. I don't know. She was there somehow. She was the only female. It was all Caucasian men. Like every single person there was Caucasian men, to talk about healthcare in the United States, to talk about, healthcare. Are you kidding? There wasn't one woman. I mean, Nancy was only there because she's the Speaker of the House. That's it. That's the only reason why she was even invited. So I just found that funny. So women want a seat at the table. And I think you're going to start seeing more newscasts and news shows with two female anchors, not just one, not a token woman, but you're going to see women making inroads right now, truthfully, because they're tired and they're fed up. Crisis, Siddhartha. Let's read the book together, just for fun, just to be friends, because I love the people on my channel. I'm telling you, I have the kindest, nicest people. Oh, by the way, this is our Christmas crystal made by the most beautiful woman, my designer, Dawn Wonder. She's not my designer, but she designed this line for soul navigation. This is our Christmas crystal, and it has generosity infused in it, and it is just so beautiful. I don't know if you can see it, but I just love it. Can you see how beautiful this is? I'm borrowing this, but one of you is going to win this. One of you is going to win this. All you have to do is write in the comments, so I know who wants to have their name put in the hat. DawnWonder.com. That's her website. Go check out everything she does. And if you want to look at all my crystals, you can go to soulnavigation.com. This is my world peace crystal. I love it. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. This actually attracts peace, peacefulness, and removes anxiety. And I have a lot of men buying my crystals and wearing them, and I just love it. This is my money crystal, and it is so gorgeous. And you guys should go check out, this is my miracle crystal. God knows we need one. Look at that. It's like Tahitian blue. Anyways, go check out all my crystals, but we're giving this Christmas crystal away. This you cannot buy. This is a one-of-a-kind. I'm borrowing it. You're going to win it. Who are you? Just put dawnwonder.com. I'm also running another really cool contest. So stick through this video with me. I told you this is a long and intense month. There's so many transits that I have to do it only through the 15th because it's too much. So next week, I'm going to do the 15th through the 30th. So on November 12th, this is the big day. This is the bum, bum, bum. I'm a little nervous to know what's going to happen on this day, but this is a huge and enormous aspect. This happens at 22 degrees Capricorn. If you don't know the significance of that, please, dear God, Tell me that you've been on my channel since January and you know what 22 degrees Capricorn means. Just write, yes, I know what it means. Please, please tell me. I want 1,000 yeses. And if not, you have to go back to my 2020 transits playlist. I've got 22 videos on this subject. And you have to know about 22 degrees Capricorn. Even if you're watching this video 5 to 10 to 20 years later, you need to know where 22 degrees Capricorn is in your chart, because this is the next trigger and it's the last one. And so we're finished with this gosh darn transit, but it started around January 12th through the 28th. And I talk about it in my December 2019 video. And the Capricorn at 22 degrees transit with the Pluto Jupiter conjunction and the South Node and Saturn were there earlier in the year is what brought in COVID. And I talk extensively about it. So COVID is a physical manifestation in the outside world of this thing that is destroying lives. But there is also in your own personal life, pieces of you, especially if you've got 22 degrees Capricorn strong in your chart, or you have Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, or Libra at 22 degrees, some sort of loss has happened to you. And this is the last aspect of this. We are never, ever in our lifetimes going to have this again. If you are living right now while watching this, this is 2020, you aren't going to have this again. You're not going to have this aspect again in your lifetime. Not in Capricorn. Now, Jupiter will conjunct Pluto in a different sign, but it's not going to be Capricorn. No. It'll look very different than this. So when we'll talk about that more in detail later. But I just want to tell you that this is the third conjunction. The first one was on April 4th. Go back and look at what happened to you around April 4th. Now, it started even earlier than that, around January 28th. This dance started to interplay, and I talk about that in my other videos. But this particular conjunction happened on April 4th. The second was on June 20th. And now the third is on November 12th, November 13th, depending on where you live. And you might see more deaths. You might see COVID expanding. You might see more lockdowns, government control, government suppression and oppression. You might see that there's a death of a belief system or death of a philosophical belief system. You might see Jupiter is expansiveness, but it is also our morals, our ethics, it's law. And Pluto is death and transformation. You might see lawlessness. Natally, I like this aspect. It's hard work, big rewards, millionaire aspect, yippee yahoo, great. If you've got this in your natal chart, it's a fantastic aspect. But in transit, in Capricorn, it makes life hellish. And so this is an aspect that can usher in millions of dollars. It can usher in big, giant business for you and massive success if you're blessed and if you have it in good aspect in your chart. But if you have it in hard aspect, it can really, really be torturous. And so tell me what you have at 22 degrees. If you have Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, or Aries at 22 degrees, this has probably had a very hard and direct effect on you. For me personally, I have a 22 degree Libra moon, and right when this hit, I lost a dear love to suicide, and it killed me. It just killed me. And it's really hard because I can't grow that part back again, at least not yet. I can't grow it back. It won't grow back yet. And so I feel like I have to get on the other side of this third hump. Very painful. So if you have a 22-degree Libra, Aries, Cancer, or Capricorn, I'm sure that you have felt it or experienced it so far, but it's really hard. I want to tell you one thing. The coronavirus is real. A lot of people don't think that it is. It is real. I promise you that. And I want you to be careful and wear a mask and don't take risks. We can become obsessed and it can rule our world and it can make us neurotic. Don't go that far. Just be smart. Just wash your hands, be smart. We don't have to go into full-blown lockdown. We don't have to ruin our economy, but we have to do life differently. And we have to be loving and patient and respectful of those people who want to take precautions and not shame them and not make them feel bad. I went over to somebody's house that had a group there, and I walked in with a mask. I wanted to walk in with a mask and a shield. And why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I? And everybody looked at me like, what are you doing? And I just kept my mask on and kept talking. I didn't care. I mean, why don't we have a choice, right? If you don't want to wear a mask, that's fine. But let people who do want to, you don't know what's inside their body. You don't know what they're dealing with. Let them. Why not? I would never make anybody feel bad about wanting to wear a mask or a shield. This can become such an obsessive transit that you could have so much PTSD from this year that your psyche is like forever changed. You could have PTSD or you could have you could be desensitized. Like there's so much crisis in the world, you just see another, bloody thing and it's like, yep, there we go. Yep, another innocent person got gunned down in the middle of the street. Yep, you can get desensitized. Thank God that hasn't happened to me. I'm still like moved to tears over the news almost daily. But, don't get hard. Stay soft, stay malleable. We need you, right? We need each one of us watching to be vessels of love, grace, and integrity, and not shame people, but really allow people in their differences to express themselves, but also lead with love. This is also a time where you should go deeply inward and explore who you are. What do you want to put this massive power transit and this personal power of yours into? Because God, Spirit, the universe, Buddha, is asking you, Allah, all the gods, they're asking you, they're telling you, you have to change. Now, what piece of the world and what piece of yourself do you want to change? What do you want to live for? What do you want to help, improve, create, and level up? Because that's what's happening. That is the whole point of this horrible crisis that exists in almost every pocket of the world right now. We have to work smarter, work better, work harder, and come from a bigger, more expansive place of love. It's the whole point of the revolution that we're standing in. That's what these transits are pleading and begging us to do. Let's talk about November 14th. November 14th, the sun is in harmony with Jupiter. It's like finally, we get good news. There is something good that happens. It might not be earth-shattering, giant good news, but I think you're going to receive good news. I think you'll receive recognition, vitality, extra strength. You get healthy again. You receive, you receive your energy again. You get back into shape. You reach your goal. You win the lottery. It's a great day to like bet on a good horse. It's probably there aren't any horse races right now, but you know what I mean. But the 14th is a good day. Now, I think that we're going to receive some really good news prior to that too. But it's just complicated because at the same time we receive good news, there are people trying to take that good news away from us. So while you feel this leveling up, you feel this these good things happening, you're also going to simultaneously feel that Saturn on us, which creates the grind, and it sort of undermines your hard work, your talent, your efforts. And so what I want you to do is just take a deep breath and flow. And let's be in this together. Let's support each other and be kind to each other and do nice things for strangers. Be extra loving. Let's don't be mean, right? Let's don't be mean. I'm going to do my next video for you guys. I don't like leaving you. You can see I'm like no frills. I have been so sick. So thank you for your good wishes. And I will be back with a little more pep next Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Don't forget, if you're a super supporter, oh my gosh, we are going to have a live stream on Friday the 13th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be so much fun, and you can ask me any questions you want. We're going to talk about the transits on Friday the 13th. Also, if you've made it all the way through here, you get to know about my next contest. If you want to put your name in the hat to win a reading with one of my new readers at Team Soul Navigation, just say, I want to win, and I will put your name in the hat. And we are going to draw our winner. Susie's going to draw it on November 15th. And so you could win a free reading with one of the Team Soul Navigation readers. And the reader is going to be chosen for you randomly. So it's going to be orchestrated by the divine. So whoever wins it gets matched up with another hat with the reader, and we're going to pair you guys up and you get a free reading. And they're wonderful. Go check them out at soulnavigation.com. And until I see you again, take good care of you. Thank you for being here. Subscribe, ring the little bell, be a super supporter, and I'll see you on my members live stream right here on my Soul Navigation YouTube channel, Friday the 13th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Take good care.